Hello, and welcome to Soul Aligned CEO Podcast, the show that shares the stories of entrepreneurs from all around the world who have started businesses fearlessly soul aligned. I'm your host, Jenny Morey, and today I am so honored and excited to have our guest, Cheryl Scott. She is the CEO of Psychic Love Healing LA. Welcome, Cheryl.
Thanks so much for having me, Jenny. I'm glad to be here.
I'm so excited to dive into everything. But before we do that, I was wondering if you could just give a brief overview of the types of services and offerings that you provide.
Definitely. So, I am a psychic medium and intuitive healer. And in addition to general readings, I do more specific readings and healings. So, if someone comes to me with an issue that they're dealing with, a relationship issue, I can do a healing. I can also get a generalized download for them, give them the information. I also do mediumship readings. So, I connect with post material bodies, with people who have
Hmm.
passed away and beings, post material beings. um, they're no longer in their body. So, that is something that I do for people. I know that that could be triggering to some people. They're like, you actually can speak to the dead. Can you do it just right now? Well, I wait and do a meditation in order to get into that connected connection with the spirit. I also do aura cleansing. So sometimes we have a tear in our aura. I do chakra balancing and grounding meditations. I can do personalized meditations. So I could go on and on and on. I
Oh,
also do
wow.
intuitive drawings. So whatever comes to me, if the client would like, I can do a drawing for them to show them a more physical manifestation of what I saw during the reading.
Interesting. That's all fascinating. I like all of that is so interesting to me. I look forward to learning more about it. So, just to give everyone a quick summary of what we're going to talk about today. So, we're going to go over Cheryl's journey and how she got started, and how a unique encounter on the beach kind of progressed everything forward for her. We're going to also talk about how she started her business and dive in a little bit deeper to the different abilities that Cheryl has. And then we are also going to share with everybody, a way that we can maybe tune into ourselves and see if we may have certain abilities and gifts also. And then at the end, we will do a short meditation that everyone can participate in. So make sure and stick around until the end. All right. So let's talk about how this all got started for you. Have you always known that you've had psychic abilities?
I've always had feelings like deja vu or ESP, extrasensory perception,
Mhm.
clairvoyance. But because it wasn't the norm to talk about it in my family, I didn't really know where to look to train for it. So this all happened very naturally. It was a natural, organic transition throughout the course of my life, coming from corporate world. I've worked for Intel. I've worked for so many different corporations. I also started my own company. I had an art gallery, and that was a very intuitive process. So that was in 2015. And for example, when I came up with the name of my gallery, it was almost like a channel download. I was searching
Mm.
and really trying to discover what would be right. But when it came to me, it was so natural. It was like a message from the universe. And at the time, though, I wasn't ready to step into it. But over the course of the next few years, and then during the pandemic, 2020 is when it really started to take off for me.
Oh, okay. So then you had mentioned that you had an encounter on the beach with someone. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So in 2020, early summer, I was in Malibu. I live in Los Angeles, and I wanted to take a walk on the beach. And I saw this woman wearing all yellow. She was holding a little boy. I was by myself, and I was just drawn to her. So normally I wouldn't go up and talk to somebody
Right.
just randomly
Right.
off the street, but we connected, and she was actually a Reiki grandmaster,
Mm.
and she had had a lot of experience in this field. And she did a grounding meditation for me on a healing on the beach.
Oh, wow.
And then the wheels just started spinning. I came across another person in my life who I'd known, but I didn't know that they were into more spiritual practices and meditation. And through that channel, I started studying with a teacher that studied at the Berkeley Psychic Institute. And I did
Mm,
2 14-week courses. And through her, I met a medium who trained me one on one
mm.
and through courses. And she trained at Arthur Findlay in London. So I'm certified as a psychic medium. And I just started
Okay.
doing the work, and it all sort of just rolled along into place naturally.
Wow, that's really
hmm
cool. So then when you started kind of pursuing the different studies, what was that experience like for you? Did you guys have practice?
Well, yeah, at first, of course, you're going to have some trepidation because you think,
Mhm.
oh, does everyone have this ability? But now, having gone through it, I know that everyone can. You might just have to develop it more. Some people feel it naturally, and then other people have to develop their skill. And so, over the course of time, we did meditations to connect to our third eye, our pineal gland, our sixth chakra, and really opening it up so that you can decide what lane you want to go in these practices. And for me, the mediumship came very naturally, and so did the intuitive healing, the psychic. I mean, I do past life
Oh, wow.
reading for people. um, and we practice with each other too, with the students and the teacher. And it was amazing when you would do a reading for someone, and here you're so new in the field,
Mhm.
and be able to really connect on that energetic level. And it was so validating. So it was just very, very natural. And it was exciting because it's something that I was always interested in, but I didn't really know where to train or learn. But then it came to me. So I just lucked out.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So then after you kind of got through the different studies and different practices,
Mhm.
like how did you go about deciding that you wanted to start this business?
Well, again, it was really organic. And being that I have a background in business, I
Mm,
was able, and starting my own business, and I did all the marketing for my own art gallery. I created social media page, a website, which right now I'm not using. I'm just mainly using social media or in
mm,
person to connect with people. And I started to make content, and I started to do practice videos. So this was actually recommended by my mediumship teacher, who is a heritage medium. It was passed down to her from her grandfather, and her mother didn't
mm,
want her to go into it. She wanted her to be a lawyer, but she
mm,
couldn't not do it. It was too compelling for her. And she recommended that I connect to spirits, well-known people, for example,
mm.
celebrities that I didn't know a lot about, and then ask their spirits to come to me. Once I would connect, I would ask them a
Oh,
series of
wow.
questions, and afterwards, I would research to see whether or not my information was correct. And
Okay.
there was a lot of validating answers there. So I posted some of those, and then I started to post meditations and just information about how you can train your own third eye, like
Mm.
through sun gazing, through eating certain foods, and just everything that I had been trained. And so you're sort of like walking the walk and talking the talk. And it was just a natural progression. I did put my business onto a psychic referral page, and I was
Mm,
able to get some new clients from that, but mostly just people that I would meet or
mhm.
know, and then talk to them about this, and they were interested in it, so they wanted to get readings or healings. And then new people, they would just contact me from
Come to
social
you.
media. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, how did it feel for you when you first started practicing? Like, what can someone that, is interested in maybe some of your services expect also? So how did it feel for you?
Mm.
And then kind of how do you go about, doing the different sessions?
Well, it depends on the person whether or not they want to have a live call or meet in person or talk over the phone, sometimes what I'll do is I'll ask them a question, what they would like an answer to or information on. And I say answer, but it's not always going to be like very, very specific. Sometimes it could be more generalized. And then I would do a meditation myself and get the downloads, get the information, write it all down, and then share it with them on a phone call or email or voice message. Some people don't feel comfortable doing it live. If we're doing it
Mm,
live, I have to get my brain into a different brain wave so that I can bring it down to not be thinking, because you don't want to have any thoughts involved. It's all just energy.
mm,
And that takes a little bit longer, but we can do that. I do that as well, and it just depends on the client. So if they
right.
say, "Oh, I'm having trouble with this relationship with this specific person." I don't even need their last name. For me, it's better to have less information because I really want it to be from the universe. I don't want anything to like kind of muddy the waters. So they tell me as little as possible and I get the information from the source, and
That's
it's
that's
from
so cool.
from
I mean,
the cosmos, from the
right,
mystical universe, and then I reveal that to them, and then we can go deeper. And if they have
right.
questions, so it just depends on the person what they feel
Got it.
comfortable with, and usually it's very healing for both of us because it's
Hmm.
validating for me, and then it's helping them cope with whatever they're going through. So it's almost like a different form of therapy.
That's interesting. That's kind of what I was wondering, like how it was for you, if it felt, healing also, for you to share those experiences with people.
Definitely. Yeah, it
That's
does. It
incredible.
feels validating and it feels, because we can all have imposter syndrome at any time. We're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" What everyone in whatever career you're in. But then
Right.
when you have the back and forth between you and another person, the energy exchange, that is so
Hmm.
wonderful.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. So let's talk a little bit more about kind of the specific types of things that you do. So I know you talked about like energy healing and relationship healing. The past lives thing was really
Yeah.
interesting to me.
Yeah.
Also, you had mentioned like aura cleansing, chakra balancing, like some of these things I'm not sure that, everyone is really familiar with. And so let's kind of break it down a little bit and kind of talk about the buckets of services that you offer and maybe talk about like what are the things that people, request, the most often, like what are people coming to you for?
Yeah.
So yeah, so whatever order makes sense to you.
Well, the past lives, I think that a lot of people don't know to ask for that because they're not necessarily familiar with
Mm,
that field. And the nice thing about understanding that we could have hundreds of thousands of past lives, some spirits, some people have like a younger soul. They might have already reached a different level depending on what they'd gone through in a life before. And not everybody believes in
hmm.
life after death, and that's fine. But the fact that we can even talk to each other right now via this technology and see each other, to me, if we as human beings can create this,
Right.
there's absolutely a possibility that we can get information from people who have passed away because that consciousness never
Right.
dies. It's eternal. And when you learn about what you might have been in a past life, it might give you some insight into something that you do today. Maybe you're
Right.
great at art and you're wondering why, and maybe you were an artist. I had a healer tell me that I was an artist in a past life. And it was
Okay.
very validating because I had always been naturally artistic. And so,
Okay.
I wasn't trained in it. It was just something that
Right.
came to me. So that's past lives. Aura cleansing, for example, if I look at someone's aura from my third eye, I'm not looking with my eyes, and I see that there's an area. it's almost like a bubble around you. If I
Mm.
see that there's an area that has a tear, we can do a remote
Mm.
repair. So it's almost like like surgery, but without needing
Okay.
needles. And then as far as chakra balancing, there might be some sort of block, like if someone has had a heartache and maybe they're not even
Mm.
acknowledging it themselves, but I might be able to see it, healers might be able to see it. And then just the act of providing the energy, maybe a certain color of energy, a repair, it's almost like being a psychic surgeon. So doing that is very gratifying for people and for me. And then just running someone's energy, finding out where they might be struggling. And also, I do timelines where we can look at someone's timeline. Like someone will ask me, when am I going to have a baby? When am I going to get married? And we
Mm.
can look at timelines, matching them up with other people, because oftentimes that's the issue, is that their timeline is different. And then when people accept that, it's almost like they feel whole again.
Right. Yeah, no, that's really
I just said a
interesting.
lot.
No, you're good. It's all really interesting. So what types of things do people come to you the most for?
Usually, mediumship, they want to
Mm.
speak with one of their relatives that have passed away. They also want answers to questions in their everyday life, relationship issues, heartache,
Mm.
just generalized like anxiety, anything that they're having an issue with. And then we go and do a cleansing. And it's really just a psychic way of getting this energy out of your body and recycling it, because energy is never,
Mhm.
it never dies. It has to be recycled. And so it's just a really helpful way through this field, through this mechanism.
Wow. No, that all of that. I need all of that.
We all
Sign
do.
sign
And that's,
sign me up.
yeah, that's the part. Like healers
Yeah.
need healers too. It's
Right.
the story of the shoe cobbler's child that doesn't have shoes, or the
Right.
doctor's kid that's walking around with a broken leg and doesn't have a cast on it. We all need this. So it's almost just so amazing to be able to like
Right.
give it to each other, because then it lifts up the consciousness, it lifts up everyone, and
Right.
then we're all like vibrating in a different at a different
Right.
level.
How cool. I mean, you can just feel your passion
Oh,
about all
thank
of
you.
this, and
Thank you.
it's so exciting. So let's talk a little bit about how can a person, like if maybe they're new to all of this, and so all of these types of
Yes.
services and offerings kind of, they're not sure, it's very different for them.
Mhm.
How can we, like each as an individual, maybe start to kind of connect and kind of tap into kind of our own internal kind of guidance and intuition first?
Yeah, I mean, you want to set the tone, and you don't have to do these types of things. Like I'd burned some Palo Santo before this. We can do rubbing our hands together and saying our phone number backwards 3 times. I'll do a short
Mm.
meditation at the end, which the goal of this is to connect with your third eye. So it's really to stop thinking and analyzing, stop the ruminations, stop the machinations of the mind, and get to a place of clarity where you're so still that you're able to let this information come to you. And you might need to ask. You would need to ask the spirit that you want to connect with, do I have your permission? Is it okay? Can I ask you these questions? You might just get downloads. But mostly it's about getting to the place where you can still your mind. And that's hard for a lot of people, because some people are
Hmm.
afraid of meditating. They're afraid, and especially with technology and the way our world is, it's so fast paced. We get that hit from dopamine from social media. So to take the time, and you might need to listen to a guided meditation. I have some meditations that I've made and post onto YouTube and Instagram. I There's a great Deepak Chopra meditation that's
Mm.
like living a carefree life. It's 14 minutes on YouTube, free. You can listen to it, that many times there's frequencies that you can listen to try to clear out your third eye. Sun gazing. So if you look at the sun in the morning or the evening when it's setting, in the morning when it's rising, don't look at it in the middle of the day straight on.
Right.
For 10 to 20 seconds, it actually can clear your pineal gland. So our pineal gland is actually the remnants of an eye. So it's like a reptilian eye in
Oh,
there. But it doesn't have an eyeball per se, but we it has like similar mechanisms to our eyes scientifically. And over time, things like fluoride, I mean, fluoride's great for your teeth, but it does like kind of stick into our system. So you could do a heavy metal detox, like how you follow medical
hmm,
medium, and do that and try to get out eating purple foods, blueberries, trying to get that decalcification, because it's almost like plaque on our teeth in this
right,
gland. And
right,
then society also doesn't tell us like, oh, trust your third
hmm,
eye. That's
right,
more of an Eastern practice. So
right. Yeah, no, I was just thinking, so how would someone know? So if they start kind of doing meditations, trying to
mhm.
start kind of quieting their mind, like how would they know when they actually start to have that connection? Like,
So
is there any?
what I would suggest is to look for a light inside of
Mm,
this little room, and we'll do it at the end just quickly, but kind of create like a space, an invisible but visible to your mind, to your pineal gland, to your third eye, a little space that's really satiating and comfortable to you, that feels safe. And then in that space, you're going to want to see a light. And maybe it's a light
mm,
that's a candle lit. So concentrating on that. I mean, I did this through guided meditations through a teacher. So
mm,
I needed someone to help me get there, but I got there quickly. There were other people that it took longer for, but she didn't discourage anyone. Everybody's on their own path, and some people are going to like have more difficulty getting their brain waves to go down to that
mm-hmm,
spot. So really, like, if you're able to see this light, it's like believing in yourself. You
mm-hmm,
believe that you're able to see this light, and swear, once you see this light, everything like clicks on. And
right.
it's really fascinating.
Wow, that's so cool. So now going back to the business for a little bit. So now that
Yeah.
you've been running the business, how does it feel just for you personally to be working in your passion?
Oh, it feels really satisfying, because knowing what I've done before, and how, I mean, I was a real estate agent for like 20
Mm.
years.
Oh, okay.
And I did that consecutively at the end with other careers. But at one point, like before 2008, I started in 2005, and I was really into it. And that was, I thought, was going to be my future. And I enjoy it. I enjoy working with people. But this is working with people on a different level,
Mm-hmm.
because in buying a home is important, and you're there every day.
Right.
But
Right.
there's nothing more important than how we feel about ourselves. Because no matter
Right.
where we go, even if we get into a new home, we're going to take that with us. So developing this business and these skills over time, I feel like is more satisfying for me. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's more lucrative to be in LA and be a realtor, but then the downside of that is the competition and the heartache. And I'm not saying that you don't have that with this, but I feel very fortunate to have been able to study this and to be able to find this at this point in my life, because it was something that I was searching for, but I didn't really know
Yeah.
how to find it. And then it came to
Right.
me, like I said before. I know that sounds
Oh, no, that's
crazy, but
wonderful. I mean, and like I said, you can just feel it. You can just feel how, like, this is you, you
thank
know?
you.
So, thinking about people that maybe are considering pursuing a passion or going down some route that maybe might not be the conventional career that they thought they would be in. Like for you, you were in real estate before.
Yeah.
So, do you have any tips for people that are just like starting a business, like how, anything that would be helpful to stay motivated or to just know that it's going to be okay, because I think people have a lot of fears for good reason, like stepping out and doing
Yeah.
something new.
I think that to not doubt yourself, and even if there are a lot of people doing the same thing or wanting to do the same thing as you want to do, you're always going to find your people and you're always going to
Hmm.
find your niche, and to be authentic. And also, um, I had a therapist years ago, and she was actually an energy healer, but I didn't know that until after I started
Oh,
going to her. So this was also like part of the progression. But she said it takes 7 positive statements to outweigh 1 negative. So when we're
mm,
saying all of these things to ourselves, it kind of becomes our reality. And I
right.
know that that's like the secret manifestation, but
Hmm.
it really is true. So to try to like release that self-doubt and to do it your way, because doing it your way will stand out at some point, and maybe it will take longer. And then there's a lot of rush for like instant success, and with the technology and the speed and seeing these people making silly videos like make
Hmm.
millions of dollars,
Right.
that there's a there's a constituency for everyone. And I think that
Right.
just really believing in yourself and showing your passion is going to make people fall in love with you.
That's great advice. Thank you, Cheryl.
Yeah.
All right. So, are we ready to do a brief
Yes, let's
meditation?
do it. Okay, so
Okay.
anyone that's listening, you can be seated or laying down. Close your eyes and let's rub our hands together. We're going to count backwards from 20 together. Don't have to do it out loud. I'll do it out loud.
Okay.
20,
Okay.
20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I want you to touch your third eye, the area between your eyebrows, above your eyes, and think about, now you can put your hand down and think about the space that exists in the middle of your head, and think of it like a little room where you have a really nice sofa with some blankets on it, and you're in there. There's a light on, you're looking at it, and you're just feeling really calm. Nothing else matters in this moment. You'll see a door out of this little room. Beyond the room is a field with wildflowers. You'll open the door, walk out to the field, and in the distance, there's a lake with a mountain behind it. You walk towards the lake, and in the lake, there's a big clear bubble floating. The bubble comes over to you, and you put your hand out onto the bubble, and it pops, releasing energy from any expectations that you have about this practice, about spirituality. You look over to your right and you see an elevator. You walk to the elevator. The door of the elevator is beautiful. It's a clear shaft going up to the sky. You get into the elevator and it takes you up to the clouds. Once you open the door, you feel safe and comfortable to walk out onto the pathway that's in the clouds. And now you're going to ask if you can meet with your higher self, that version of yourself that doesn't have a body, that doesn't judge yourself or anyone else, that is all knowing. You'll meet with your higher self, and you might be able to see this person, you might not be able to see, because, like I said, they don't have a body, but you might still be able to see something around them. It could be feathers or a crown or you dressed differently. It's just you, but a different version of you. And in that moment, you can ask your higher self to help you and guide you to have the abilities to tune into your intuition, because really your life depends on it. You can thank your higher self, walk back to the elevator, come back down on the same path, all the way back through the field, into the little room, and lay down. Now I want you to think of a rose flower, and put everything that I've just said into that flower and let it float off into the sky, into the universe, so that you don't have to carry with you any stories from the past or expectations that might deter you from believing in yourself as an intuitive person. And once you do that, I want you to think of a golden sun on top of your head. We're going to let that melt down into our bodies to cleanse us, ground us, and we'll rub our hands together. You tip your head over a little bit to release any excess energy. And I'm going to count backwards from 3 to 1, and then we can open our eyes. 3, 2, 1, open.
Oh, wow. My lights all went off. That's crazy. Wow, that was really amazing, Cheryl. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
you're welcome.
Um, yeah, I don't know how the energy made the
Yeah, I'm getting
that.
chills.
Oh, that was
Ooh,
so nice. I saw like kind of a golden like outline of myself. It was really it was really beautiful. So,
I'm so happy.
thank you for that.
Of course.
So, let's share with everyone how they can get in touch with you. So, you have Instagram.
That's the
So,
best way right now.
okay.
It, if someone wants to send me a message on Instagram or reply to one of my posts, I'll get in touch with them, and we can go from there. And it's Psychic
Okay.
Love Healing LA. My personal Instagram
Okay.
is my name, Cheryl with a C, Cheryl Scott. Cheryl, actually
Okay.
Cheryl Lee Scott, my middle name. But um, if they can find me both ways. But Psychic Love Healing LA, and
Okay. Perfect. And
we
then
can
you
go
had
from there.
mentioned if they mention that they listen to the podcast, that there might be some sort of promo for the first session or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I can give them a special soul aligned CEO discount.
Awesome. Awesome. That's so great. Well, wow, this has been so incredible. You offer so many different types of services that I think so many people can benefit from and are interested in. I know I want to reach out and kind of do a couple things with you too. So I'm excited about that. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today.
Of course.
And, I look forward to maybe having you on future episodes.
I would love that. Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you, Cheryl.